Hello everyone, JB Thrills here, back with another video. Today, we talk about Six Flags Over Texas. If you don't already know, Six Flags Over Texas was the first ever Six Flags park. It was created in 1961, and was founded by Angus G. Wynn Jr. Over time, the park has gone through many ownership changes, and physical changes as well. The original Six Flags Over Texas is long gone. But while everything is different, and Six Flags Over Texas looks like a regular theme park, it has more than what meets the eye. What do I mean, you may ask? Well, Six Flags Over Texas has many hidden secrets and Easter eggs throughout the park, some even going unnoticed. So today, I'm going to list 10 of those hidden secrets and details at Six Flags Over Texas. But before I get into all the hidden secrets and details of Six Flags Over Texas, I would like to say, if you like my content and videos, don't be afraid to hit the like button, subscribe button, and tap the notification bell to know when new videos are coming out on my channel. 77.5% of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so please help turn this majority around. Anyways, let's get into today's video. As I was saying before, Six Flags Over Texas is more than what meets the eye. Sure, they have the coasters, flat rides, and shows, but there's also many hidden secrets and Easter eggs throughout the park. And after looking for them, I composed a list of 10 hidden secrets and details throughout the park. Now obviously, there's so much more hidden secrets, but I didn't want to make the video too lengthy, and I'll let you guys find the rest of them. Also, the list is in no particular order. It's just 10 hidden references and details around the park. But anyways, let's get into the list of secrets. Going to Six Flags Over Texas is super fun and exciting. So exciting, in fact, you might even miss a super obvious hidden secret. What am I talking about, you may ask? Well, before you go through the security's checkpoint, you see this giant facade with the park's name on it. To some, this looks like a normal entrance, but to others, and Texans, you know what I mean. It's way more than that. The park entrance is themed to look like the Alamo. What is the Alamo? Well, if you don't already know, it's a major part of Texas history. To sum it up, it was a battle between the Texans and the Mexicans, which took place at the Alamo. Sadly though, the Texans were defeated badly, but it inspired more Americans to fight with them, and invented the phrase, "Remember the Alamo." Well, this motivation helped us win the war, and Texas became independent from Mexico. Without this, Texas would probably still be attached to Mexico to this day, and the Alamo is a big part of Texas culture. The real Alamo is located in sunny San Antonio, Texas, down south. But the Alamo also appears in different things, like art, architecture, and more. So of course, Six Flags Over Texas, the park themed to Texas, had to have this. And it's not just the facade. When you go in the main plaza, the buildings around it also look like the Alamo. The main gate where you scan your ticket or season pass has some Alamo-inspired architecture, as well as literally everything else in the main plaza. Next time you go through the main gate, take a closer look at the entrance, and maybe you'll notice the similarities as well. So let's go on to the next secret. Next up, we're in the looniest area of the park, Bugs Bunny Boomtown. Bugs Bunny Boomtown is the kids area at Six Flags Over Texas, and it has a great collection of rides. But did you know that it actually has a great collection of hidden secrets as well? What am I talking about? Well, in the back area of the kids area, by the ride named Bugs Bunny Cloud Bouncer, there's actually a hidden secret right there. The ride is a mini little drop tower for kids. The ride is themed to none other than Bugs Bunny, and you see a Bugs Bunny mannequin right next to it. Now while it seems to fit in since the tower is themed to airplanes, it's actually not, and that Bugs Bunny mannequin is actually a reference to an old attraction. Before the new Bugs Bunny Boomtown, their area was originally called Looney Tunes USA, an area that I grew up in when I was at Six Flags back then when I was little. And before the remodel and new attractions, they actually had some old attractions that are now long gone. One of those is called Bugs Bunny Spirit of St. Louis, a fun airplane attraction for kids. The ride was located in the spot of Taz's Tornado right now. But with the renovations, that ride was considered outdated and they removed it, which was sad because I grew up on that attraction. And one major thing you noticed about that attraction was that it had a giant Bugs Bunny mannequin in the middle. With the removal of that ride, they didn't want to get rid of the Bugs Bunny, So they switched it over to Bugs Bunny Cloud Bouncer, which was originally themed to Taz, but because the new Taz Tornado, they rethemed it again. And that old, familiar friend is still there now. And Bugs Bunny, Spirit of St. Louis, still lives on. Next, we head into the area next to Pandemonium and Justice League Battle for Metropolis. Between these two rides, you go into a little games area, with carnival games all along the left side. Now while most people walking through there focus on the games or the rides, an Easter egg is actually right there. While waiting for Pandemonium, you may have been looking at the signs in the carnival games. And while at first they're just part of the Texas theming, it's actually not, and it's an Easter egg of a past attraction right there. One of the buildings has a sign titled Spindletop. That's not just something they created for the theming. In fact, Spindletop was actually the name of a defunct attraction that used to call Six Flags Over Texas home. The ride was a chance rotor attraction, a family attraction where riders would stand up while spinning around super fast until they got stuck to the wall, and then the floor would drop, and they would stay stuck to the wall for the whole duration of the attraction. And while it was a great ride for the park, and people really enjoyed it, Six Flags replaced it for new innovative attractions, and Spindletop left Six Flags Over Texas forever. But that doesn't stop them from putting Easter eggs and references to this once amazing attraction, and its name still lives on. Runaway Mine Train is a great family coaster, no doubt, and it's probably the most themed coaster in the park. But this ride is more than what it seems, and it has plenty of secrets with it. And no, I'm not talking about how the American coaster enthusiasts got a shout out on the attraction. It's actually something more obvious, yet hidden. While you're about to ride Runaway Mine Train, before going up the steps, you probably will encounter some little rope fences. Well, little did you know, those are not rope. It's metal wires. Why metal wires? Well, back then, on the opening day of the park, there used to be a ride by the name of Astrolift, a transportation attraction that would take riders across the park. But after the ride went defunct, Six Flags decided to recycle it and used a humongous wire for the queue line of Runaway Mine Train. And it's still there to this day. And if you go up and touch it, you'll see how hard it is, and how it's not rope. But honestly, that's a great way to reuse old attractions. So kudos to you, Six Flags. The Six Flags in Texas Railroad is a great attraction. It's the best way to get to the other side of the park, but it's also the best way to see lots of hidden secrets. This ride is definitely a hidden secret hotspot. But of all the hidden secrets this ride has to offer, the biggest one is the part where you see working remnants of an old attraction. What am I talking about? Well, when the train goes through the Mexico section of the park, you encounter these animatronic tamales, and people riding burros. Now while to some they think it's the theming of the train, it's actually not, and it's reused animatronics and mannequins from the original Ferrocarril Fiesta train. The Ferrocarril Fiesta train was the opening day attraction at Six Flags Over Texas. It was a small little train that would take you through comical scenes of the Mexican culture. After the ride got removed, Six Flags decided not just to scrap it, because the ride was so iconic and it was there on opening day of the park. So they took some of the animatronics, fixed it up, and reused it for the train. And now, that once amazing attraction still lives on now. So I highly suggest taking the train, even if it's just to see the references of that amazing attraction. Next up, we head over to one of the most thrilling rides at Six Flags Over Texas, New Texas Giant. New Texas Giant is the world's first RMC, and it's one of the best coasters at the park. But while the ride is so amazing, it also has some amazing hidden secrets, like how some props of the attraction is interactive. For example, when the train leaves the station, this fake front of a car lights turns on because it senses the movement, or how the coaster trains is made with real car parts. Those are great hidden secrets and all, but one of the biggest and awesome hidden secrets that's actually pretty hidden is the huge reference to Angus G. Wynn Jr., the creator of Six Flags Over Texas. While riding the coaster, you may have noticed a giant oil tower in the center of the attraction. Now some people discard this as just theming, but it's actually a huge reference to the creator of Six Flags. If you look at the tower closely, you'll notice it says Angus Oil. Angus Oil isn't a fictional oil place. It wasn't something made up just for the theming. It's actually a reference to Angus G. Wynn because that's his name. And it's not just the oil tower. After you hit the brake runs, you dive under the supports, and you see the sign that says fire in the hole, with another sign saying Angus Oil again, 2 references to the amazing creator of Six Flags. Overall, New Texas Giant is a great coaster, but it's also great to see Angus G. Wynn, the creator of Six Flags Over Texas, get some credit, because without him, Six Flags Over Texas probably wouldn't even exist, and we wouldn't see this amazing coaster in the first place. So next time you ride New Texas Giant, make sure to check out the amazing references of Angus G. Wynn. Moving on, next to New Texas Giant, we have a behemoth of a coaster by the name of Titan. This Giovanola Hyper is a thrilling and exhilarating attraction, but like the other rides at Six Flags Over Texas, it's more than what meets the eye. This ride is a huge reference to lots of attractions. Yes, lots. When you're going up the lift hill of Titan, you might be too focused on how scary it'll be, how thrilling it will be, and etc. But if you ignore that, you might actually pay attention on the huge secret right under Titan. When you drop, you may have noticed pieces of stuff all over the ground. Well, it's not just stuff, it's actually past attractions and new attractions. Why? Well, that's because under Titan is a boneyard. A boneyard is a place where they store pieces and parts of attractions, and Six Flags decided to put it under Titan. Now you might be thinking, oh, so they just use Titan as a trash area. Well, no. I like to think of it as a memorial of old attractions, and a way to predict what Six Flags Over Texas can get next. For example, on the POV I recorded, you can see boats from the defunct Aquaman Splashdown, pieces of Harley Quinn's Pinsanity / Crazy Legs, extra rafts from Roaring Rapids, logs from Cerradero, and so much more. So even though that area can be considered a trash can of old rides, I like to disagree, and I think it's a great way to pay homage to old attractions. So next time you're on Titan, make sure to look around and see the boneyard for your favorite defunct attractions, or maybe clues to what Six Flags Over Texas can get next. Runaway Mountain is an indoor coaster at Six Flags Over Texas. One thing that makes this ride really unique is that it takes place in complete darkness. The ride is fun and all, but it also has its fair share of hidden secrets. I mean, of course it would. The ride itself is technically a secret. Back then, the coaster had lots of active theming, ranging from a live waterfall to smoke effects. Sadly though, as time passed, all these effects got turned off. But what if I told you that 2 of those effects became hidden secrets and still exist in the mountain to this day? As you walk into the ride, you may have noticed a coaster track sticking out of the mountain. Now obviously, it's not part of the coaster, but it's actually a hidden secret. That coaster track used to have an animatronic inside a minor cart that would come out every 5 minutes, and the little minor cart would go all the way to the edge and then back into the mountain, tempting riders to come in. It was a small effect, but it was great. But sadly, it got turned off. But it didn't get scrapped. In fact, it's still there. If you go to the side of the mountain, you can still see the minor cart inside the mountain. It's been there ever since, and hopefully one day Six Flags turns it back on. But that's not the only secret. This one's actually a 2-in-1. Before Runaway Mountain became bland, it had a large queue line complete with lots of theming. One major highlight of the queue line was the 2 animatronic alligators that would jump out at guests that would walk near it. Sadly though, when Six Flags shut that area of the queue line off, the alligators were never seen again. Or were they? If you go into JB's Smokehouse and walk to the patio portion of the restaurant, you can see the pond, and in there is the 2 animatronic alligators. Now obviously, they're standing but not operating, but it's great to see that they're still there, and hopefully one day, Six Flags turns them back on, and the animatronics can return to Runaway Mountain. Walking away from Runaway Mountain, you'll encounter the France area, probably the only themed area from the original Six Flags Over Texas that's still standing. You may have noticed some Fords and cannons and stuff, and you might have thought, well, it's just props. Actually, no. It's literal pieces from the defunct La Sal's River Adventure, a boat ride that existed at Six Flags Over Texas back then. It was an opening day attraction, and was probably the most highly themed boat rides, and close to Disney, in the theming category. Sadly though, the ride got defunct and was replaced with Roaring Rapids, but the area still remains, and every building or cannon or essentially anything themed to France in that area is all part of La Sal's River Adventure. And while it is used as a smoking area, it's still great to see this defunct ride be preserved, even though now it's long gone. Last but not least, the final reference takes place in none other than the oil derrick, the observation tower of Six Flags Over Texas. The oil derrick at the moment has 2 floors, the bottom deck and top deck. But little did you know, it used to have a 3rd floor. Yes, a 3rd floor. Back then, the oil derrick was connected to a giant steel slide. It was actually the first stop of the elevator. Riders would get off and then go down that slide. But after lots of injuries and it being declared unsafe, the slide got taken out entirely. But there's still a reference to it now. When going up to the tower, you may have passed the floor. Now obviously you can't go down on that floor. It's closed off. But little did you know, that floor is actually part of where the slide used to be. That's where riders would wait in line to go down the slide. And while the slide probably won't come back anytime soon, it's great to see that floor referencing that amazing slide that used to be there. So next time you go up in the elevator and see that floor, just imagine the huge slide that went down the tower and how great it could have been. But anyways, that's 10 of the references and hidden secrets at Six Flags Over Texas that you probably didn't know about. Do you know any more? Comment down below. But anyways, thank you for watching. This is JB Thrills signing out.